The skin collector in the abandoned tunnel. I should have listened to the locals when they told me to stay out of the old railway tunnel. They didn't say it directly, not in plain words, but the way their eyes shifted whenever I brought it up told me everything. Some places are left alone for a reason. The tunnel had been abandoned for decades, sealed off after a collapse on the far end. I'd passed it countless times on my late-night walks, its rusted steel frame half buried in vines, a gaping mouth into the earth. Every time I stared at it, I felt that same pressure in my chest, like standing too close to the edge of a cliff. Curiosity always wins with me, though. Curiosity, and the kind of restless boredom that gnaws at you until you make mistakes. That night, I finally brought a flashlight and stepped inside. The air changed immediately, thick, damp, heavy with the smell of mold and rust. My footsteps echoed down the tracks, bouncing back from the dark like whispers. The beam of my flashlight wavered across graffiti, rusted bolts, and crumbling concrete. I expected rats, maybe a homeless guy, but not the things I actually found. About 50 yards in, my light landed on something that froze me. At first I thought it was paper, strips of something pale and thin, clinging to the wall like dried wallpaper. But when I got closer, I saw the pores, the tiny hairs. It wasn't paper. It was skin, dried, stretched, and nailed into the wall like trophies. I gagged, jerking back. The skin was patched, uneven, as if torn from different people. Some sections had tattoos, faded but unmistakable. Others had freckles, scars. My stomach churned at the thought that each patch once belonged to someone alive. The tunnel grew colder the further I went, but I couldn't bring myself to leave. Not yet. I kept pushing, the beam of my flashlight trembling in my grip. The deeper I went, the more I noticed the scraps weren't just on the walls. Some were hanging from nails on the ceiling, dangling like grotesque wind chimes. My boots crunched on something brittle. When I looked down, I realized they were fingernails. Hundreds of them. A faint noise made me freeze. Not echo, not water dripping. Footsteps. Slow, dragging, coming from deeper in. I clicked my light off instinctively, my breath catching in my throat. The tunnel swallowed me in pitch black, the kind of dark where you can't tell if your eyes are open. The footsteps kept coming, closer, scraping against stone, uneven, as though something heavy was being dragged along the tracks. I forced my hand not to shake as I clicked the flashlight back on. The beam caught nothing but damp stone and rusted rails ahead. But the sound, it was still there. Closer. Louder. Hello. I whispered, hating myself for saying it. The footsteps stopped. The silence pressed down on me so hard it felt physical. Then, slowly, the sound began again, but this time it wasn't ahead of me. It was behind me. I whipped the flashlight around, heart hammering. The beam barely reached 30 feet back, but I swore I saw a shape slip out of view. Tall, hunched, skin glistening wet in the dim light. My throat went dry. I should have run then, but something in me needed to know, needed to see. So I walked deeper. The tunnel narrowed, the concrete cracked and flaking. The smell grew worse, a sour, rotten stench that made my eyes water. My flashlight flickered, dimming for a moment before coming back. That's when I saw them. Faces, dozens of them, stretched flat against the wall like paintings. The skin taut, the eyes stitched shut with coarse thread, the mouths sewn into grotesque grins. Some faces were fresh, still moist, lips split where the thread bit too deep. Others were shriveled, yellowed, ancient. I stumbled back, all burning my throat. That's when I heard it again. The dragging sound. Right behind me now. I turned, the flashlight beam trembling across the tunnel. It was there, the skin collector. It stood half-crouched, its spine bending unnaturally, shoulders scraping the tunnel ceiling. Its body was covered in stitched-together human skin, mismatched tones and textures, some pieces fresh and raw, others leathery and decayed. Faces hung from its chest like necklaces, some intact, others torn. And where its own face should have been, there was nothing but a patchwork mask, multiple mouths sewn shut, eyes that weren't aligned, mismatched, and blinking at me out of rhythm. It let out a sound that wasn't quite a growl, not quite a breath, like air escaping a punctured lung. My legs finally remembered what to do. I ran. The tunnel shook with each slam of its limbs as it followed. My flashlight beam bounced wildly, catching glimpses of walls smeared with blood, more dangling skin, rusted tools that glistened with something dark. The dragging sound was louder now, like claws raking stone. I didn't look back. I couldn't. The faint light of the tunnel entrance appeared ahead, tiny, so far away it felt like it would never get closer. My lungs burned, my chest ached, but I pushed harder. Then my light flickered and died. The tunnel swallowed me whole. Behind me, the dragging stopped. The silence was worse. I fumbled, slamming the flashlight, begging it to work. For a second, the beam came back, and the creature was only 10 feet away. Its long arms outstretched, fingers tipped with broken nails, reaching. I screamed and sprinted with everything I had left. The light ahead grew larger, brighter, salvation burning into my eyes. My body wanted to collapse, but terror pushed me forward. I burst out of the tunnel, collapsing onto the grass outside. The night air hit me like ice water, clean and sharp. I turned, gasping, expecting it to come barreling out after me. But it didn't. The tunnel mouth gaped silently, vines swaying in the night breeze. No sound, no movement, just dark. For a moment, I thought I was safe. But as I staggered up, shaking, I saw something on my arm. A thread, coarse, black, piercing the skin just above my wrist, as though it had already started stitching me before I even realized it. And then I heard it, from deep inside the tunnel. That sound again, the sound of air leaking from lungs that should not breathe. It's waiting, and it collects,